Okay, welcome, wise investors, to another part, which I want this to be the last part. I know I said that the hopefully part 6 was going to be the last part, but we do have to go over some case studies, and I definitely want to wrap up all of the important aspects of understanding how to read the daily financial market report, but going more in depth, giving you guys an insight as to how all of this correlates from the graphs perspective, as well as how does this all correlate from the MetaTrader 4 perspective, because it will give you guys a better insight, a better glimpse, alongside with understanding how to read the chart, understanding when I say chart, I mean how to read the daily financial market report. Okay, because you guys don't see what we see from the charting perspective, but if you understand the visuals that are associated with the symbols and the meanings that are on the chart, you'll be able to identify from a visual perspective, at least without having to see the chart, but still be able to identify what's going on with each asset. So that's why it's very important for me to go through these case studies for you all. Okay, we went over 2 previous case studies: Australian dollar versus Canadian dollar, Euro dollar versus Canadian dollar. Australian dollar versus Canadian dollar from April to November, we were holding that. You were able to see how that works, how that pans out from the CMV, current market value perspective. Also, you were able to look at the euro versus the Canadian dollar, how that pans out from just about a 1 month. It was October 6th up until November 9th. So just threw it out as a month, and how that correlates mainly from the current market movement perspective. Because really, when you start to break out of the current market movement perspective, if you're an investor that wants to invest current market value, I know it's a little bit more challenging, but if you want to take that route, understand this. I said it before in the previous video that you're going to have to wait at least 60 days before you start to break through the cycles, because there's a series of different cycles that are going to take place. And those cycles are your assets going to be heavily influenced by the current market movement perspective. Did you catch that? So if you're holding or you decide to take current market value trades, understand that the current market movement will have the predominant influence, especially for the first 60 days. So that should tell you guys something. Those of you who are now going to take current market movement, let's deal with you all now. All right. So without going to the previous case study of euro versus Canadian dollar, let's move into another case study on this report. Another case study that we're going to look at. Let's take a look at this one here. Euro versus the New Zealand dollar. So we can see here that the euro versus New Zealand dollar, obviously from the current market value perspective, has been pretty steady. It's been going for about 6 weeks without any significant changes yet. But we do see a stress that might take that's actually taking place. And I mentioned this on the previous video. So take a look at that. What does a stress represent? If you're looking at this, I added the definition. I added an extra meaning to the definition so you guys can understand what it means. I'm not going to go over that meaning right now, but I will show you a visual of this. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little closer. So if you see that this euro versus New Zealand, the position is obviously a sell. So if you see that there's a stress taking place, what you can see and determine in your mind when you're looking at this report is that there's a opposing force taking place. So that opposing force that's taking place is definitely a buy, okay? Or an up force, okay? So that up force, you can just imagine that is there, all right? You see that stress? You're not going to see this on a report. I used to put it on a report. It just, obviously you can see there's a lot of cluttering, but Just understand that there's always an opposing force. There's always an opposing force whenever there's a stress. Obviously, we see stuff with this asset that's all over the place, but it just recently happened that way. Okay. And if we look here, we know that according to the current market movement, it's going in a buy direction, and that's pretty much a new trend that's taking place. And we also see that according to this, there's an opposing force. That opposing force would obviously be opposite, and we see that there's a downward opposing force. So it's all over the place. So this asset right here would definitely what we would consider to be going through a lot right now. Okay, right now it's going through a lot. So there's a lot of things that you can ask yourself when you're looking at something like this. If you're holding it in a current market value, is it going to change? I mean, will this current market movement overtake the whole asset, and will it become aligned? There's a lot of different questions you can ask. But let's see how it pans out. Let's see how things pans out from a current market movement perspective, a short-term perspective. Are you guys ready? Let's go. So let's look for the trade here. We have the trade already here. Here's the trade from a month's perspective. We obviously see that from October, we also been holding this, and we're at this current profit. Okay. So we can see that from a 1 month's perspective, if we looked at the current market movement, which is the CMM right here, we can see as of recently, we know that there was a new trend that just took place. So we know that there's a disturbance that actually changed the trend actually, but it looks like it might try to go back. There's something that's trying to make it go back to where it's supposed to be. If it does, it'll cause this whole thing to be aligned, because then we'll have a sell here and this will change back to a sell. All right, but let's take a look at the chart now and see what's going on so that we can get a visual. Here we have the Euro New Zealand from the current market movement perspective. And let's kind of zoom in here and let's plot out this chart. So we have up until now, which is recent. And let's see here. And we're going back to October. Was it October 6th? Okay, there it is. October 6th. So we have that within the purple is the time frame that we're looking at. That's the activity that we're looking at, and you can clearly see what's going on, especially towards the end. The orange represents all of the movements or the disturbances that are taking place. Okay, the red represents the overall trend that we're taking here. All right, so we do see that there is a sell. All right, now it's enough for us to actually move this into to a buy direction. So we do see that, especially with the blue, that's indicated that as well. Now, will it completely change? Only time will tell. From this chart's perspective, what we need to see is a complete move of that red line. Once that red line goes up, well, then we can fully, truly say and place it on our report that yes, it has moved and it is now going in a buy direction. But we're not fully seeing that now. All right. So that's why there's a lot of stress indicators that are taking place here as well. And we also have some stress indicators. If we were to look here from the a longer term perspective here. Let's see here. All right, zoom in a little bit more. Okay, this might be as far as we can go. Yeah, okay, that's as far as we can go here. So we definitely see, again, there's some disturbances here, some stressors, things that are going in different directions as well. So what would I do if I were to take this position as a short-term investor? I would take a look and see another account. I want to show you guys another account. Now, this account demonstrates a current market movement on a day by day or a weekly basis. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that account so we can get a more clearer view as to what is taking place and what is going on. So let's go ahead and see, and we should have that asset located here, and we do, and here it is. So we have the euro versus New Zealand. Now let's take a look. Now we can see here that this was placed on Monday. I'm pausing because I want you guys to kind of take it all in. Take it all in. Because today is the 9th. So these were placed on the 8th. So we have the 8th here, here. And all of these represent different aspects of what's taking place. But all of these represent the current market movement in real time. See that? Look at the dates here. The 8th, the 8th, the 8th. And all of them are going through their own different scenarios. But overall, we do see what's taking place with the profit overall. So current market movement is a very powerful force, especially on the day to day. But let's take a look at our asset, the one that we're looking at right now, which is euro versus New Zealand dollar. Here we have the euro versus New Zealand dollar a day later. Now, what position is it favoring from a 24-hour period? Well, it's obviously favoring the buy position. So if we go here, we can see exactly what's taking place. And not only that, we can see the force as to what's taking place even here if you were to take according to the report. So if you took the current market movement according to the report, well, guess what you'll be demonstrating what you saw here. All of these are going according to the positions of current market movement listed on the report. I hope that's clear. All of these reflect the CMM on this report. So in essence, if you were to have taken everything that was listed here, obviously some of the current market movements will need more time. The ones that are not in profit, obviously, okay, because there's other things going on. So that completes our case study for this final video in this series, how to understand the daily financial market report. Guys, if you utilize this report wisely and you utilize it correctly, depending on the type of wise investor you are, you'll be able to see some significant changes, especially improvements in how you associate yourself and how you present yourself with the online investment world. Okay, especially those of you who are into Forex trading. I highly encourage you to take advantage of this report, take advantage of this opportunity. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Visit our website, go to the contact us part of our website, and someone will get with you and we'll get you started. We also have a Telegram group. Visit our Telegram group so that you can be plugged in and know exactly what's going on. And if you see one of the admins in there, contact the admins and they'll get you started ASAP. Okay? And remember, only winners invest in their minds for wiser returns. God bless.